Danganronpa is a beloved Japanese video game franchise created by Kazutaka Kodaka and developed by Spike Chunsoft. It was a high school death game murder mystery visual novel filled with lovable characters and a fun premise. Thing is, the last Danganronpa game was released in 2017. Kodaka has instead been working on a new IP in Master Detective Archives Raincode, which is scheduled to come out later this year. Though he hasn't ruled out coming back to the franchise, I wouldn't count on it anytime soon. So, it was left up to the fangans to pick up the pieces, and that's exactly what we have here today. Project Eden's Garden. This video will contain spoilers on the prologue of Project Eden's Garden. This game, according to GameJolt, contains intense cartoon violence, fantasy violence, animated bloodshed, drug reference, strong language, mature humor. You have been warned, but it really isn't that bad if you're genuinely worried. Development. Project Eden's Garden is a non-profit Danganronpa fan game made by a small team of English-speaking developers. Promoting their fan game was their dedicated YouTube channel. Whilst the earliest video currently available on the channel dates back to November of 2020, it was only until January of 2021 that the announcement trailer was released. Having been received incredibly well, it appeared as if development was continuing smoothly and at a good pace. In July of 2021, the team published their first devlog on their channel, and all was well. The team had speculated that the prologue would be finished by end of year, and a full game released by the end of 2022. Once again, everything was smooth sailing, or so it seemed. As it turns out, there was a bit of trouble in paradise. In October of 2021, the 4 original writers for the fan game suddenly quit the project and took all of their work with them, but not without leaving a 67-page-long public statement. Now, before I get into the nitty-gritty of it, please do not send any hate towards anyone involved in this matter, because that just makes you a fucking asshole. You see, the issue was, well, the director of Project Eden's Garden was a fucking asshole. According to the statement, the director had, quote, disrespected his writers, enforced damaging staff policies, and displayed harmful behavior. End quote. There's a lot in this document, so I'm just gonna surmise and give you the juicy shit, and my takes on the situation. Keep in mind, I wasn't there, so this is just what I understood from the available resources, and I apologize if my abridged rehashing of events doesn't quite capture the full reality and/or severity of the events that had transpired. So, let's imagine the director as a power-hungry man-child. You see, the original writers worked their fucking asses off, and what thanks did they get? Nothing but insults and humiliation. Remember, most of these people are volunteers, working for absolutely free, and the director refused to even acknowledge the ideas that the writers poured their hearts into, including an 18,000-word document of outlines and suggestions that was met with, "No thanks, but I appreciate the effort." He outright refused to open the doc. Throughout Discord messages, he would shit all over them and act with malice anytime criticism was suggested. He would put words in their mouth and make fun of them. There was even a point in which he had hired a new writer and crowned them lead writer without any prior discussion to the rest of the team. Essentially a replacement. Additionally, there was a lot of siloing going on. Little to no communication allowed between different sectors, or at least that's what the director was trying to enforce. The director was running the project into the ground. Multiple class trials and story arcs completely changed. 3D modelers were given instructions that outright contradicted the script. I quote, "The reconstructed story also included negative stereotypes about real-world mental disorders." The people on this team cared so much about this game that they were making, but inevitably, dealing with this became too much, and when the writers voiced their complaints, the director played the victim and suggested that it was the writers at fault, or simply ignored the messages. In October of 2021, the writers quit the team and took all of their work with them. Once all of this was made public, the director issued an apology, which is no longer accessible, and left the project himself. Project Eden's Garden was left in the hands of the art director and technical director. They tried reaching out to the former writers, but whether anything came of this is unknown. Under new management, the fan game picked itself back up, but what remained from the original draft and assets is also unknown. Obviously, the game experienced some setbacks, but communication between the team seems to be good now and development has continued smoothly. But Project Eden's Garden is now entirely a volunteer-driven project, no longer having the former director to fund certain areas. In December of 2022, the fan game's Prologue, Vows Woven by Stitches and Needles, was released. Gameplay. The gameplay of Project Eden's Garden is pretty much a direct parallel to that of Danganronpa. Most of the game is a visual novel in which we simply talk to our classmates to progress the plot and discover clues that'll come in handy later. We can also examine things in each room, more clues for our class trials. And then there are the class trials, the only real gamey part of the game. As only the prologue has been released, multiple other segments and gameplay mechanics will likely be added to the class trials of later chapters. Loaded with your truth bullets, you need to shoot holes in your classmates' arguments. There is also an alternate version of this, which plays the same, in which you need to shoot your classmates' statements to back their claim. At the end of the trial, we put together a comic which retells the story of the murder from start to finish. These segments are real annoyingly difficult because so much of it just doesn't make any sense, or the panels just don't seem like they're in the right place, but that's always been the case. At the end of the day, the Danganronpa series has never been known for their compelling gameplay. This is what matters most to the franchise. Characters. This is where Project Eden's Garden shines. Our cast is absolutely fucking stacked, with a roster of fun characters with interesting ultimates. Also, all of the character designs are just amazing. We're gonna go through each of them one by one. Starting with ourself, Damon Maitsu, the master debater.
I, Damon Maitsu, am the ultimate debater.
The developers knew exactly what they were doing when they made Damon the ultimate debater, and I am all for it. He works great as our protagonist and really mixes things up. Instead of being the epitome of good and or average like Big Mac or Hajime, Damon is a narcissistic jackass. Brilliant. Oh, and also, each of the characters have an animal motif. Damon's is the snake, which is significant because of the biblical references in the game. The serpent in the Bible represents deceit, temptation, and the devil himself. And I think it'd be sick if they played into this. Like, each Danganronpa game has a traitor of sorts. How fucking sick would it be if they made Damon, our player character, the traitor, or even just one of the first to kill? It seems that our Kyoko of the game is gonna be Eva Tsunaka.
It's like one of my Japanese animes.
Eva is a very intriguing character. Whilst her personality is kinda lackluster at the moment, she is considered the ultimate liar, which I am so hyped about. Like, what does that mean? Can we trust anything she says? How does one become the ultimate liar? Her motif is the crow, which is a reminder of Jesus' death on the cross. And in the Bible, if a crow is crying in a tree, it foretells of either death or a great change in someone's life. It's also important to consider her name, Eva, which has a striking resemblance to Eve, as in Adam and Eve. So yeah, she has so much potential. Now tell me, what's a level above the ultimate debater? Well, that would be Wolfgang Akire, the ultimate lawyer.
We will not come!
His motif is the sheep, as can be seen by his pin, and sheep in the Bible represent followers of Christ. This works for his character as Wolfgang is a good, earnest bloke, driven by logic, fact, and morality. He's gonna make sure that everyone is fairly represented. And then we have Best Girl, Grace Madison, the ultimate golfer.
I've said it a million times, you mangy fucking mutt!
Now the whole golf stuff, no one cares about it. I'm just imagining some Happy Gilmore kind of shit. She is Best Girl because she's an Aussie, and a stereotypical, angry, foul-mouthed Aussie at that. She is perfect. She has insults ready for everyone, and is not above beating the shit out of those who offend her.
Don't forget it, Soybean.
This fact actually almost made me shit myself because she starts beating the shit out of the headmaster. I was getting some Junko Inoshima / Smukuro Ikusaba flashbacks. No! Bang. Oh, Grace, no! The sound of a gunshot echoed in our ears. No! Oh, Best Girl! Luckily, they were just baiting us and she was fine. As can be seen from her visor, her motif is the bunny. The rabbit represents fertility, new life, and spring in the Bible. So, we have Best Girl, but what about Best Boy? This man right here is easily the best character in the entire game. Jungkook, the ultimate influencer.
Oh shit!
It's literally just Jungkook from BTS. He even talked about his army of stans that are ready to kill for him. This is fucking hilarious. He's an attention whore and a dickhead, and I fucking love him. His motif is the butterfly. It is a symbol of resurrection and change. I'm really interested to see how this character's ultimate ability will come into play. Toshiko Kaora, the ultimate matchmaker.
You're emanating a sizable amount of emotional tension.
I mean, there's a certain BTS member that Damon has been master debating to, so that would be funny. She is the youngest of the cast at only 14 years of age. Oh yeah, the ages of the characters have a bit of a range, with Toshiko being the youngest and Wolfgang being the oldest at 22. She's great, confident and caring, but she's ready to throw shade your way if you fuck with her. Her motif is the flamingo, and fun fact, we never actually get to see her full face because she always covers it with one of her fans. Apparently the flamingo means to be a flame, biblically, which may refer to the flaming passion of love. I don't know, maybe we'll even find her corpse burnt to shit later on. Jean Delamere is up next. He's a fucking pirate. Okay, well, no, he actually hates pirates.
Didn't even see them coming.
Jean is the ultimate ship captain, and despite hating pirates, he dresses like one. He's an absolute unit. Loud, jacked, and happy-go-lucky. As seen by his tattoo, his motif is the dragon. Now, the dragon is also seen as the serpent, so there's that. But in the Hebrew Bible, Yahweh the dragon is often depicted as a divine warrior, executing vengeance against his enemies. And then we have another unit, Ingrid Grimwall, the ultimate blacksmith.
That slimy killer pulled a fast one.
Man, she is so cool and could beat your ass to a pulp. As a blacksmith, apparently she's also proficient in all the weapons that she can forge, which is sick. She's a gentle giant though, with the southern accent. Her motif is the lion, creatures legendary for their strength, beauty, and fearlessness, which fits Ingrid perfectly. Desmond Hall, the ultimate marksman, is our chill and laid-back character.
Why are you bringing me into this?
Despite having the skills to hit any target no matter the distance, Desmond has made an adamant stance against violence and claims to have never killed anyone. So that's 100% gonna change throughout the course of the game. He's just a real chill dude, and his motif is the shark.
Baby shark do 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 do, baby shark do 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 do, baby shark.
According to the Bible, dreaming of a shark symbolizes danger, anxiety, evil, tragedy, fear, and misfortune. But it could also mean compulsiveness, betrayal, deceit, chaos, death, hopelessness, and lack of faith. So, while Desmond is sharpshooting in the real world, we have Cassidy cranking 90s in the gaming scene.
He squirted her in the eyes.
Cassidy Amber, the ultimate pro gamer, is a streamer and a gamer and a woman, and she is awesome. She's a dude bro. She's also a bit of a philanthropist, giving a spaghetti factory to a public school. So there's also that Mr. Beast influence in there. Cassidy has some web patterns on her stockings, so her motif is a spider. In the Bible, the spider's web is seen as something weak, since it can be easily swiped away, though they have also been representative of evil, as a person who performs evil deeds weaves spiders' webs for themselves, not being able to hide their deeds. The next motif is pretty obvious, a coyote for Jet Dawson, the ultimate furry. I mean, ultimate drag racer.
Yo, what the fuck is going on?
Apparently, he got into an accident a while back, which left him burned and scarred, so he's probably real fugly looking under the helmet. Also, you can't see it from his sprites, but apparently he's pretty fat. He's fun, and the main reason is because I can make furry jokes. Also, he does the Scooby-Doo laugh. The biblical meaning of a coyote refers to their adaptability and cunning nature. Next up, we have Eloise Tolner. She's alright. Probably my least favorite of the cast at the moment.
I just want to go home.
She is the ultimate fencer, and despite her weight, is incredibly agile. My problem with her is that she's just really boring. She's your typical coward and hates social situations, so I have no real reason to care for her. Her animal motif is the swan. The swan doesn't really have much of a meaning in the Bible, but her character probably has association to the story of the ugly duckling, which gives me hope. Like the ugly duckling, I'm hoping her character sprouts into one we can really appreciate and care for. This guy's pretty cool. Ulysses Wilhelm, the ultimate historian.
Wars have been fought over buckets. I'm not surprised one could be used for murder.
He spends every waking moment reading and researching human civilizations to a point of exhaustion. He is constantly sleep deprived, and I relate to that hard. He carries a notebook and denotes every interaction he has in it as, while he knows everything about history, he struggles remembering those around him. His animal motif is an owl, which represents deep spiritual knowledge. And then we have Winona, no last name given, the ultimate entrepreneur.
The man's a stock image. He doesn't even have a name.
She's a ruthless, cold businesswoman, and pretty much controls the agricultural scene. Right now, we haven't seen enough of her to really care, so for now, she's just a bitch. Her motif is a bear. The bear is used as a metaphor for the activity of both the wicked and of God. They have been described as cruel, insensitive, self-seeking, and without a spiritual consciousness. The last of the blokes is Mark Mayhem Bursky, the ultimate music producer.
Can you not? I don't want to talk.
Whilst he isn't the best in social situations and seems quite reserved, he makes up for this with his musical talent. Though in Eden's Garden, that hasn't really been shown or come to light as of yet. His motif is an alligator. An alligator is a biblical metaphor for an adversary. It signifies an external threat, or an innately wild element of oneself. And the last of the chicks is Diana Venecia, the ultimate cosmetologist.
Snap out of it!
She's a makeup artist, and I really like her design. What can I say? I'm a sucker for pink hair. She's pretty neat, with a kind atmosphere around her. She even won April Anarchy. Her animal motif is a chameleon. Because of their ability to change colors, chameleons are symbols of change and transformation. And that's all of the students in Eden's Garden Academy, but we have a couple more characters, starting with our antagonists of the game. Tozu is our host, and he's pretty cool. I like the idea of having our host be a human, as opposed to a robot teddy bear. Though I wouldn't say he quite matches the charisma of everyone's favorite Monokuma. He's close, and I love his design. He gives me very flamboyant, theatrical Shakespearean vibes.
Toss away those pickaxes, peasants. The walls have finally crumbled.
As can clearly be seen by his mask, his motif is the goat, which makes sense as the goat is a symbol of damnation. And then there's also Azazel the scapegoat, which may allude to Tozu maybe only being a figurehead and not the real mastermind. I say this because we do know that there are more of these animal masked individuals from these picture frames next to the Tree of Ignorance. Then there's the Enforcer, Mara. She's here to make sure everyone is following the rules and will not hesitate to kill if needs be. But she looks absolutely awesome and can step all over me. She wears a panther mask. The panther or leopard in the Bible depicts swiftness, lightness, and beastly nature, or enemies, and on some occasions, the wrath of God. The last character currently in the game is Kara Koskinen, the ultimate teacher's aide, who is already dead before the events of the game. Whilst we don't know much about her at the moment, I'm sure her death and being will have some lore implications and more significance later down the line. Story. As only the prologue is available at the moment, the story isn't too fleshed out yet. For the most part, it follows a similar setup to Danganronpa. Ultimates across America have been invited to attend the prestigious Eden's Garden Academy. All the students meet on a train to the school before getting knocked out by a gas emitted from a mysterious bag in the train carriage. Next thing they know, they wake up in this strange place. What is likely Eden's Garden Academy? The headmaster Tozu has forced the Ultimates to investigate the death of Kara Koskinen, which is finalized within the class trial. After which, now aware of the class trial system, Tozu announces the school killing game, which will begin in Chapter 1. Visuals. As mentioned earlier, all the character designs are absolutely fucking incredible. Additionally, all the CG slides look great, and all the HUDs as well. The deaths still have that psycho pop aesthetic with the pink blood, which I still dig. And then I also like the spinning animation for the class trials, and even prefer their font choice over that of Danganronpa's. This is where my biggest flaw with the game comes in, however. The 3D overworld visuals are pretty fucking dogshit, in my opinion. It looks like Gmod and throws me out of the immersion. But also consider that this is a small indie team, and 3D modeling is really fucking hard and time consuming. Audio. Absolutely banging. Every single track that Project Eden's Garden has composed goes so hard. Here, have a listen. Yeah, they go crazy, and those tracks were the ones that didn't make the cut. Here are some of my favorites from the game. Setting aside the backing tracks though, the other audio available in the game are the character voice lines. Of course, as this is a Danganronpa fan game, not all the lines are voice acted, but some of them are. So while I have my shitty headcanon voices, Whatever it is, I'm sure you can ask an employee. I'm honestly not in the mood. We have their proper voices as well.
No, they were definitely armed. With a knife.
And every single voice fits the character to a T. Excellent job. Final thoughts. I am so fucking hyped to see the rest of this game. The prologue has been made really well. I love pretty much every character, and I'm really looking forward to see how the plot progresses. I genuinely believe that this game could blow Danganronpa out of the water, and I'm just really hoping that this project is seen till the end, because they've made something really special here. I'm gonna hold off on giving the game a rating until the full release, because I don't think it's fair to judge it simply on its prologue. The potential is absolutely unreal though. This fan game looks really promising, and I wholeheartedly recommend you check it out, whether that be now or when the full game is released. Alright, that's about it. See ya!